So as mentioned in the first video, men and women don't get along. And I stated that because they don't get along, that is why God created marriage. This lady went to a counselor with a concern. My husband flirts with women, and I am concerned, she says. The counselor hears her concern and says to her, you are overreacting. There is no need for alarm. The fact that your husband flirts with other women does not mean he wants out of the marriage. It's just a man thing. Men like to show off in front of women. I agree 100% with the counselor's statement. That is what men do. Men behave like that. They like showing off in front of women. Thank you, Mr. Counselor, but next time, listen carefully to what the concern was. When you do, you will realize his answer is extremely problematic. Of course, that is what men do. Men cheat, flirt, men lie. Women cheat, women flirt, women lie. Her concern was that her husband is flirting with women. Her husband is still acting like a man. Husbands should not act like men. Wives should not act like women. And that is the problem in marriages. You see, marriage is a magical thing. If you get married, the man becomes a husband and the woman becomes a wife. The difference between husbands and wives and men and women is extreme. They are opposites. A man and a woman are better off without each other, but a husband cannot be without a wife, and a wife cannot be without a husband. A husband without a wife is a man. A wife without a husband is a woman. You are not trying to marry a man. You are not trying to find a woman. I know you did not pay attention to Solomon's ruminations carefully in the book of Proverbs. He says, he who finds a what? A woman? No, a wife. Same with the opposite. He who finds a husband has found good and has obtained favor from the Lord. One of the biggest problems today is that when people get married, they don't change. They don't make that transition. The man remains a man and the woman remains a woman. There is no husband and there is no wife. So you have couples living together as man and woman, not husband and wife. And that does not work. They never make that transition. Therefore, a man shall make the transition. A man shall leave his father and his mother and cleave to his wife, a woman who has made their transition, and they shall become a union. A man and a woman cannot make a union, only a husband and a wife can. That is why when your boyfriend dies, you cannot become a widow. You may be together for 1,000 years. You still don't become a widow when your boyfriend or your girlfriend dies. But when your husband dies, you become a widow. You know why people don't make this very important transition? Because marriage makes you vulnerable. Now they were both naked, but they were not ashamed, says the text. It makes you vulnerable. Why? Because for the first time you get to see your reflection, your wife. That is why all the marriages mentioned in the Bible happen by the well. When you look in the well, what do you see? And I hope you don't think you see yourself. No, you see your reflection. Isaac met his reflection at the well via Eliezer. Jacob met his reflection at the well. Moshe met his reflection at the well. One time I had a conference titled Husbands, Let's Talk About Marriage. And only 5 people showed up. They were all women. Interesting, huh? The next month, I had another one titled Men, Let's Talk About Marriage. And the place was packed. The next month, I had another conference and retitled it Husbands, Let's Talk About Marriage. The place was sold out. The first time when they read the title of the conference, it was only the wives that showed up. The unmarried men ignored it, but they were actually my target. What do you think happened in the second conference titled Men, Let's Talk About Marriage, that the place was packed? that made the third conference, which we retitled Husbands, Let's Talk About Marriage, sell out. They realized why the title of the first conference was titled as such. How does one make such a transition from man to husband and woman to wife? We shall find out.